Okay, so I was trying to figure out how to explain how I do things, so I figured I'd just show it in Autodesk. I've imported this as a canvas, so like insert the image and then you apply it to a face just to give a reference. We'll define some sizes just because it's easier. This is the FX at the top. Oh, 400 wide. I don't know why I do things this way, but that's just how I name variables in this stupid program. So I've got height, width, depth, wood thickness, just because we can play around with these things, and then create a sketch on the front face. The decal will go away, but we'll just define some stuff to start with. I'm going to create a center axis, just using the line tool, and what I'll do is I'll change the line type to construction because that means it doesn't interact with anything. I'll pin the top of the top shelf to the center line, and then I'll remember to pin that to this whole thing. Pin the center line to the actual origin because I clearly didn't click on that when I created the line. Add a dimension here because wood thickness is a thing. Add a dimension there because wood thickness is a thing, even though your top shelf should probably be on the top. Going to extend that center line down. Dimension the overall height. And then dimension the width. I'm doing it this way because it's easier to make it symmetrical. I'm going to draw the shelf in just because we can. Extend that down. I'm going to draw the bottom shelf in as well. Just trust me on this so far. So you can slow it down if you need to, but I've also got that side bit of wood. And the bottom shelf, which will be 42 mil, because reasons. Alright, coincident means the point is on the same point, so we do that and just pins it to each other. Blue lines mean something's not defined properly. Black lines means it knows where it is in space. So because we've made it 200 mil from the center line and we've given them a height, these lines, those outside lines are black, but because we haven't told it how high it is, that's why this is blue, or like where it lives in space. I'm going to turn off the image because we know where everything is now, and arbitrarily I'm going to pin the bottom of the shelf to the center point. Think. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is turn that way up just because I can. And pin the bottom. What's selected when you do things matters. Pin the bottom to the origin. Now, because we have a height and a width, these are defined. Because we have a height and width, these are defined. Because we haven't given this anything that's not defined yet. So I'll give that a dimension of 42 because we're working with random arbitrary things, and we know its thickness, so now it's defined as well. We haven't said where the shelf is, so it's now 235 mil from the top. So now it's defined. Everything else is defined, so we have black lines everywhere. And because it's easier to see, we'll turn off the dimensions. We'll turn them off again. And select everything and go S to select the tool, mirror, mirror, across the center line. So I'm going to mirror everything, because if then, I'm just going to turn off constraint view as well so we can see everything. We can change things. So you can say overall height is now 900 millimeters, and the entire carcass changed. These get messy, but that's just the nature of the business. One day I'll learn how to use a mouse. Okay, so we change. I'll leave it like this for now. So we've got our initial sketch that shows how it all lays out from this view. Now I will do. One day I'll remember where the extrude thing is. Alright, so extrude means extend it. Extrude it to overall depth, new body, new component means it's a whole part in itself, which makes things easier down the line. Alright, we'll view the sketch. What I tend to do in this case is, instead of extruding it twice, what I'll do is mirror it. Which oh yeah, that'll be fine. So mirror the object across the mirror plane, which is the center line. New body. Yeah, alright. Components are a whole thing. But yeah, I'll do it. Now we've got two bodies in the one component. It's an Autodesk thing. I can show you how to deal with that later. Extrude, there's the button. Let's do that. New component. Then you go along and do that. So extrude that. Just that bit. One thing to remember is if you select join, then it will start mushing things together. Mirror that. Mirror that object across this plane. S brings up that little pop-up that gives you tool selection. Now, turn off that. The reason I have to click both of these is because there is a black line in between there because of our mirroring. If I had not mirrored the center line, then it wouldn't do that and it would be much easier, but I'm forgetting to do things. Overall depth, bink, and then one more because we want this. So we're making a, oops, select the right component because we don't want child components, because we're making the front just wood thickness. The reason that's grayed out is because I've selected a specific component, which ended up being nothing, which is odd, but okay. Autodesk. I'm trying to do 3 things at once. That looks wonky because we've got orthographic faces on. That looks a little bit more human. So now we have our carcass. If we wanted to put a back on it, so we're looking at the back view. I'll turn off the sketch because it makes it easier to see things. One thing you'd want to do is create sketches based off faces. So I'll create the sketch based off the top shelf just because I can. Because then if I change anything about the top shelf, like the depth, which I'll show you in a second, it can change everything and not break stuff. So we're looking at the back of the shelf on a new sketch. What I want to do is get the geometry from the existing bodies. So I go into project, which you press P to get to, because I'll use that as reference for the back. I'm going to project the outer bits, and you can turn off bodies, but that's going to get messy because of all the different components, but that's fine. And now we've just got our sketch. So I want to shove a big bit of plywood over the back. I'm going to make a rectangle that covers that. That's blue because we haven't given it enough constraints, and we can do that. Now it's black. Because the projections are inherently geometry defining, that's why you have to select all the bits. You can make it 12 mil thick. New component, and then boop. So we'll bring back all the components. I don't normally break it up this way, but it's just another way to do it. And I click to drag that because it moved. So that's the carcass of the thing. If we go back to the original sketch, we can now change the height of that to be 335. Click Finish Sketch, and it removes everything. So you shouldn't be moving components, you should be changing the sketch definitions and things like that. You can do things like assemble all the components together. That gets a bit more complicated, but for our purposes it is done. And again, you can change all of this. So I can make it 500 mil wide, and it makes it wider. It just redefines everything. And because we did that reference sketch for the second one, the back stays stuck to the back instead of screwing itself up.